Good morning. Welcome to Lithic Literature. I am so full of stories this morning, but I hardly know where to begin. Well, let me share with you this little bit. Oh, this is me. I'll spare you looking at my face. That's pretty much what it is. Well, anyway, yeah. So we're working on this. Lifting these images from it's a turtle fossil that was found in Colombia. I'll set in a picture of this later on into this video, but it is covered with material. One of the things that I'm really enjoying is the blue areas where we talked about the igloo, etc. I'm also really enjoying, the lady's postures here, that she has many. I also pointed out her reclined position, but also the fact, the way she's reaching out, which reminds you of, Michelangelo's, the creation time when the little fingers come together. So this probably will develop as I work on this. Michelangelo is definitely looking at this and using all the different postures. The anatomy in this work is always exceptional and has been an assistance to artists throughout the ages because this design has resolved a lot of issues of perspective, anatomy, foreshortening for the artists already. So it's a good study. But we're looking for a little bit of reference to history here. If this is found in Colombia, I believed it was covered over for some reason and then uncovered again. But there are traces here of carving by previous peoples. You can date some of the recent stuff, but we know history repeats itself. So at the same time, even though this may have more recent context, it is built on previous contexts. They're using previous, even though we evolve, there's certain things that remain the same, like, our 5 fingers and hands and all the things we do. You will find throughout here, this one's kind of cute, which in the past I would have, the 5 hands, but in this kind of, in the blue area anyway, they hold their pinky up quite often. So you will have 3 fingers and then the pinky held out. So that's something that made me laugh, like how when you drink tea, you hold your pinky up. Maybe our predecessors had a little dainty moment now and again. I do pick up a lot of over here, the lady here, and we talk about, this possible cradle, which automatically makes you start thinking of that Ark of the Covenant, with the birds and things like that. You almost, this thing is like coming in between an ostrich, long legs. Then all of a sudden you can sort of pick up the great stork carrying the baby in the basket. I mean, the stories are endless here. I think there's a story here involving, the whole thing of the golden fleece. And I think this is a more recent addition. Maybe not, but there is definitely, if you turn it sideways this way, as we leave the stork delivering babies, it also becomes, that Viking with a flash of blonde hair going this way and, the power with the beard. I believe that we're talking about here earlier visit before the dear sun god that we acknowledged before, involving the Spaniards. So here I have a lot of Viking interaction, but I think all these things are more recent. There are older things here. When you start seeing, the elephant and the little baby elephant, and then you start seeing all these forms that I'm calling sea people. I mean, we'll get better at it as we discover more. But I do believe that when I started working, here's, that I believe that these are references to previous sea peoples, and I'm going to work on that today. These sea peoples have a strong affinity for the color blue. We know there's a lot of, the whole idea of copper blood, of using, instead of iron, to use copper as a, to carry oxygen rather than iron, because it's more effective in the coldest regions. So I don't know if we're talking about here, the idea of blue blood, being, there is that, thing that, oh no, blue blood is a sign of quality, as a sign of good breeding. Well, I don't know. There seems to be some blue blood floating around here, and it seems related to some pretty creative people. It's cool. There's a lot of faces, moving. I do believe it's related to the colder regions. So there's this whole population of this. This is like looking like the Grinch, but with the Grinch too, you will see, you see a little bit of the pelican effect. That little pop at the top is always the pelican. So I think, in this area right here, that reminds me that yes, we have a pelican, but I don't know. Pelicans don't usually crash into ice, but everybody here migrates, and the migrations, you can see, reference to migrations. This whole thing is a map too. I mean, it's the planets. They knew so much, highly aware people. So we're going to keep on working on this. I certainly hope you enjoy it. I know I am having a blast. Thank you so much. Love you all. Thank you for looking. Keep looking. I'm doing this because I really, really, really want to get these stories out there. I'm going really fast, like a mad woman, but life is limited, and there is more than a lifetime's worth of work. And each one of my paintings, I just skim the top, I assure you. This is an extremely large sculpture, not extremely large. This is larger than a human. This colossal turtle fossil. I believe that it was once greatly appreciated, whether it was a flooring to a habitation or used propped up as a centerpiece for contemplation and study by the ancients. It's gonna be fun. So hold on to your bootstraps, 'cause we're flying.